Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's me, your host for I Am the Remembering, Kai Lumen. Um, you know, hope everybody's journey has been going extremely well. Hope everybody had a great 4th of July, had time with your families. Um, just want to take this time before I start anything, man, it's for everybody who's tuning into the channel. Just, close your eyes, open your mind, open your soul, and just be ready to receive this message. Whatever problems you may have, just let them all go. You know what I mean? Your mistakes do not make you who you are. The decisions that you make do not make you who you are. I say it all the time. It's not about it's not about learning anything. It's about remembering who you are and why you came here. That's the biggest reason why you're here in the first place. What mission are you here to carry on? What are you here meant to pass down from generation to generation? How is your impact going to be felt? Those are the questions you should be asking yourself. What was your original mission when you came here? For those who are inclined to know what it is, you just got to keep digging and keep asking the questions. Question everything. So yeah, at this time, you can open your eyes, be ready to receive this message. Just kind of want to delve further, deeper into my journey as far as how I decided to break structure. Let's just get on to what it is. What is a vice? A vice is something that you would call not typically a mindless addiction, but it's more of a very attentive addiction. It's something that you always have your eyes on, something that you always have your mind thinking about. It's it's very, very what I would call a very impulsive addiction. You see something that you like, you immediately want to jump to it, and you immediately want to have that. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter how many you have, doesn't matter how many times you get it, it's never enough. It's an addiction, you gotta have it. It's something that just fills that void for you. And in most cases, it can be a good thing or a bad thing. For some people who have vices, from what we've known in the past, as far as societal structures, it is extremely detrimental to have. But people have picked up vices now. It's just, known to the free world who are on social media, Instagram, Twitter, shoes, clothes, watches, glasses, whatever it may be, all at the end of the day resulting back to either physical or material possession. And I feel as if, man, like, we all have them. You know what I mean? And like, I'll be completely honest with you, man. When I was breaking structure, man, I didn't realize it would come down to the darkest demon that I had in my, in my shadows, man. And that was, sex. Just couldn't get enough of it. No matter how many times I did it, man, it was never enough. Like the physical attraction to a woman was probably a huge detriment to a lot of the decisions that I made. Eventually ended up making me fall out of alignment many of times with what I should have been doing. But there is no shoulda, coulda, woulda. Everything is divine timing. So I look at it now as so many learning lessons of remembrance of who I am and, why I came here to be. Probably one of the hardest things to ever break. Probably one of the hardest vices for a man to break is a physical attraction to a woman. Like, you know what I mean? As far as for me, I can't speak for everybody else, so please excuse me for that. But like, sex is a very powerful thing. It's a very energetic, very huge transfer of energies between two people. And Literally, when you tie yourself to somebody, man, you really do what it says. You tether yourself to that person in an energetic and a spiritual sense. And yeah, mindfully, yeah, you're attached to them in the mind as well. And like, this here can easily turn into an addiction, and it was something that I dealt with for quite some time in my relationships, outside of my relationships. Like, man, it was, back then it was, see a woman, see a pair of legs, jeans, shirt, at the grocery store, at the parks, at the gym, you know what I mean, going to get food, like, didn't matter. Like, man, that was my particular vice. That was my taste. That was what I loved the most. And I realized at the end of the day, and like I said, this was up until maybe a year and a half. Yeah, it's been a year and a half now where I have not fallen into the trap of, you know what I mean? It was just something that I had to slowly but surely break away from me. Which comes to my next point, man. Every vice that you have is something that you're tethered to. It's a piece of energy, a piece of yourself that you need to gain back. It's a form of your power, a part of your energetic alignment to pull you back into alignment with all things that are meant for you to carry out your mission in this life. We have had so many times where we've held doors, held energy, held places for people to be safe and be secure, and you know what I mean? Like, man, we never even take the time to look for ourselves. And right now is that time. Right now is that time where you start digging deep, man, and you really got to start giving back the energy that was taken from you and what you took from that. And it needs to be a transfer. All your vices that you may have, man, it was all part of distortion. It was all part of the fracture. It was all part of the illusion. It was all part of the distraction. A distraction from your vision, your mission, your purpose, your intention. And it's a real thing. You know what I mean? I'm glad that I managed to figure it out early. That was my biggest weakness. That was my biggest problem, was giving that up. And yeah, man, it was hell and high roads I had to go through to rid myself of that. And I found different ways to meditate, to really start taking back my power, one little bit at a time, one moment at a time, because that's all you really get. And I just want y'all to know, man, like, these materials things, these physical things, it weighs on the spirit. It weighs on the mind. Like, it really does. It weighs on you physically as well. Stresses you out. And, a lot of times we feel like we gotta have these things. If you ever feel yourself waking up impulsively doing something, then you obviously know, like, that's a problem. That's an addiction, no matter what it is. And eventually it will burn you out. You know what I mean? Some people burn the candles at both ends all the time. We all did it. For those who are around my age, getting close to 40, like, we know what it was like in our 20s to really go burn the candle at both ends. Especially me as a former athlete. I would work hard. I would put time into the gym. You know what I mean? I would go to school during the summer. Like, I would do a lot of stuff, man. I would definitely, and then I'd be up all night, doing whatever, you know what I mean? Just awake for no reason. But obviously, what my vice is, so, you know what I mean? Don't really have to say too much on that, but that's what I was doing, fornicating, 9 times out of 10. For those of you who understand, like, what it means to be struggling with an addiction, I do, because I was one of them. You know what I mean? Hell, there's many of us. But, truth be told, man, like, you just gotta find ways. Like I say, meditation, going to the gym, taking walks, doing things that will not necessarily exhaust you, but energize you going back into alignment for where you originally came. Going back to the original path, remembering why you started even coming here, questioning all the little things that you're doing at this point in time in your life. It's not about where you are and where you're going in life, and it never was about that. It was never about you learning anything. It was basically you finding a way to remember who you are through all the illusions, the distortions, the fracture, the distractions. Like, quiet the mind, man, and like really tap in with yourself. Ask yourself, man, is any of this stuff really that important? Are the material possessions really that important? We have things that we need, obviously, yeah. You need a car to get to work. Some of y'all don't even need a car. Some of y'all can walk. Some of y'all, jump on a scooter. Some of y'all jump on a moped. Some of y'all, ride a bike or even run, depending on what your job is. But whatever it is, man, like, you gotta ask yourself, what's more important? Is this a need or a want? You know what I mean? And like, once you start to realize like that half of the stuff that you're doing is just purely on a want, you know what I mean? It's not truly a desire. It's not truly something that you need. It's not a necessity. It's not going to, uplift you or energize you or activate you. Then it serves you no purpose. And once you start realizing that all of these things, all these material things that you're going after, it's all a mindset. You don't really need money because you were born abundant. You were born wealthy. You were born healthy. You know what I mean? You were born prosperous. So all the material things, they'll come when they come. And everybody's form of prosperity, abundance, and wealth look different. But you got to find what works for you, and you got to find what path do you need to be on to exuberate that abundance, that wealth, that prosperity. You know what I mean? Like, what are your expectations? Not everybody else's. Let's not think about what your mom, your dad, your sisters, your brothers, your community, your society. What do you want? What is it that you desire? What are the things that you need to break from? You know what I'm saying? What societal norms do you need to break away from? These are the questions that you need to ask. Like, why am I doing these things? Why is this stuff really that important? Does it really make a difference in my life? Does it really serve a purpose for me? Man, if the answer to those questions are no, 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 and no, and obviously you've always had the answer. You were just being distracted. And it's okay because everybody gets distracted. Life be lifing, so I get it. And it's not easy. It's not easy to go look yourself in the mirror and be like, yo, I got a real problem. But that's when you start to remember who you really are. In those times of chaos and controversy, that's where you find out who you really are. That's where you find the truth of source. That love, that inner love that you have for yourself. Takes time, takes effort, takes energy. You really got to start peeling back the onion. You really got to start chopping it layer by layer, and you got to find out who you are. And that's hugely important. But it starts with you just ridding yourself of all the distractions, giving the energy that you took from something and giving it back. You give those things back. You give the energy back to where those things originated from. Watch how much of your power you get back. Watch how much control you get back of your life. Watch how much peace you find in your life. It's important, and you gotta know how important it is to be in alignment with your mission, your purpose, your intention, your vision. None of these things come alive until after the experiences are done. Once you realize that these experiences were only meant to build you, not to break you. That your mistakes that you made, they were part of you. They're not you though, but they're a part of you. Because without those mistakes that you made, you wouldn't be you. You wouldn't be here right now. So it's okay. It's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to be human. Because that's what we are. We live in a state of duality. You can't have one from the, away from the other. Without the light, there is no shadow. Without demons, there are no angels. But it's all duality. It's all an illusion. Just got to break away from it and realize that it really is about you. Stop holding space for others. In order to be selfless, you have to first be selfish. And you have to really figure out what's good for you, what serves your purpose. What is in alignment with what you desire to do out of life. Take that time and let it resonate, because these questions are very important to you. This is important to your life. Like I said to all my flames who are carrying the torch, I'm proud of you. Thank you for tapping in. Thank you for taking the time to listen. It's not easy listening to somebody for, an extended period of time and not be able to receive the information. But I just want you to know that you all are seen, you are heard, you are felt. And not a moment goes by where I don't think about you all, and I realize that we're all coming into this awakening quietly, but very loudly. And everything is shifting. All of you are starting to awaken, and I'm super proud of you. Realize that you are the first priority, and you are most important. If you don't take care of you, nobody else will. Can't take care of anybody else until you take care of yourself. And that is my word. And like I say, at the end of the day, your vices, they're all part of a bigger scheme to distract you, to distort you, to fracture you, to make you feel as if you are not enough. But I'm here to tell you, you are enough. You are more than enough. You are everything. You know what I mean? You are wholeness, you are oneness, you are totality, you are everything and more. You are the infinity and beyond. And once you begin to believe that, you'll start to remember who you are. And the minute or the second that you remember who you are, you'll realize real quick, none of this stuff was ever that important to begin with. The only thing that is important is what you desire to achieve in this life. It all depends on you. It's going to start with you. It's going to end with you. So only you know what that looks like. And like I said, go forth inspired. You can do it. Anything's possible. And I mean, anything is possible. But it starts with you. Lay down the distractions. Remove them from your life. They no longer serve your purpose. It's about you. It's always been about you. So create the bigger picture. See your vision through, carry your mission forward with purpose and intention. Again, for everybody, this is I Am the Remembering. I am Kai Lumen, and I love you all. Take care of yourselves. Protect your essence and protect your energy. Till the next time, everybody, I'm out.